That's too low. There we go. How low can you go? How low can you go? Down to the floor. My light is going to go out. I got to go downstairs and get the other one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got about 30 seconds or less when we get this party started. This real leader party. It's real leader party. Are you going to last through this live? Please? No. We'll see. Okay. It's flickering. Might not have light on this side. Okay, I believe we are at, it is 5:30. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Dr. Thomas-Rodgers, and I got too much shea butter on my face, so my hair is sticking to my face. That's going to be interesting. All right, we will persevere on. Persevere during times of adversity is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So let's get this party started on your own. Go ahead and inhale and exhale 3 times. Let the brain know we get ready to do this. All right, so today we are discussing how to become leader-led. How is that going to take place? We are going to become leader-led today. All right. I had a brain cramp for a second. You need a secondary device for this live. Go to my website, theturnarounddoctor.com. That is theturnarounddoctor.com. Go to the website and go to the 74 principles of real leadership and scroll down. And we are at the leader-led section. So we are at L of real. This is an acronym. Real and pink are acronyms. Stands for realistic, effective, authentic, and leader-led. Pink is for powerful, innovative, natural, and knowledgeable. And there are 16 principles of real leadership under leader-led because it is muy importante. Yes, it is. All right. What does it mean to be leader-led? And I said I was going to read this portion out of my book. And I'll have it marked. I do. Okay, so the Cliff Notes version is on the website just to keep everything simple. Out of the book, it is the best way to lead is from the front while bringing your team along with you. This is accomplished by being the example that you want others to follow. If you want excellence, you need to exude excellence. If you want your team or people in your life to follow you, you must show them where they are going. You will need to be with them every step of the way. That's the point of leader-led. Now, your actions in being led will no doubt speak louder than your words. Your actions will speak louder than your words. I say listen to what people do. Listen to what people do. Unaccountable people talk a lot and then do very little. They do very little. They talk a good game. They like a pimp at a bus stop on Saturday night, trying to get them some new work in. Okay? Increase their stable. They can talk, and they go do nothing at all. Not one thing. Okay. So the first one on the list, again, you need a secondary device. Good morning, Lola. You need a second device, and you need to be on the website, theturnarounddoctor.com. The 74 Principles of Real Leadership is the page that we are on under Leader-Led section, and we are starting with number 1. Good morning to everyone. Number 1 is lead by example. Lead by example means that you are the example for which others follow. You are the example. So if you happen to be a parent, an older sibling, you happen to be a shift leader, a lead position, a supervisor at work, you are president of the Usher board, a church, whatever it is, if you are a member of any type of organization and people look to you for leadership, you need to lead by example. Okay? And that's what people think about when they think about leadership. Oh, that person is in charge. I need to follow them. My mother and my stepfather both had opportunities when they were working. They are now retired to be in leadership positions, and they said no. My mother said she didn't want to be a leader because she'd been slapped the shit out of somebody. And my stepfather said he wasn't going to do it because it was too much responsibility. That's the problem. That's why we have the situation that we have with the adult population today, because people don't want to be personally accountable to become their best. But you are actually the leader. You are the leader of your life. You are the leader. You are the CEO of Me Incorporated. And I believe I said this about 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to say it again today. You are going to point to yourself right now. Go ahead and get both your hands together. And you're going to say, I, and state your name, am the CEO of Me Incorporated. So here we go. I, Dr. Donna, am the CEO of Me Incorporated. I am the CEO of Me Incorporated. I, state your name, am the CEO of Me Incorporated, which means I need to lead by example. You need to lead by example. You need to lead by example. And most adults are do as I say, not as I do. Do as I say, not as I do. How is that supposed to work? How? It's unaccountable. It's double speak, it's double think, and it doesn't work. So I have today as my 482nd day being live. 482 days being live. Started on TikTok. When TikTok went down, I knew I was making the transition to YouTube. I'm staying on YouTube because my lives are recorded, automatically uploaded to my YouTube channel. Leading by example. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I lead by example by being personally accountable. I lead by example by embodying the 74 principles of real leadership. I am the standard by which excellence is measured when it comes to personal accountability and becoming your best, and the 74 principles of real leadership and a theory of personal accountability. That's what it means. And in order to do that, you have to be real. Yesterday and for the 2 previous days, we talked about being authentic. Guess what you cannot do if you are not authentic? Lead by example. Well, you can. You're just going to be an example of what not to do. And that's what I say all the time. You can always learn from people. You can learn what to do and what not to do. And unaccountable people do not disappoint or fail. They are going to show you every single day what not to do. Every single day. Every single day. They're going to show you every single day what to do and what not to do. And this morning, we have a bunch of examples of unaccountable people attempting to come and disrupt what I'm talking about. And notice I have not addressed any of them. I'm leading by example because I'm talking about leadership right now. I don't have time for their nonsense, but they are great examples of what not to do. So clearly, you have people who don't see themselves as the CEO of Me Incorporated. So they can go back to Loserville and go do what they were doing prior to coming over here, as Linda mentioned 2 days ago, to latch on and grab a host. Okay? So you lead by example in things that you do and don't do. And the reason why personal accountability is the shit is because you are accountable and responsible for all that you do and all that you fail to do. So lead by example doesn't mean be perfect. That's not what it means. It means that you are striving for excellence and best every single day. And if you miss the mark, you have to acknowledge that. If you make a mistake, then you apologize when you are wrong. It is a growth and evolutionary process until the day that you are no longer here. So you lead by example. You cannot say, everybody be on time, and you keep showing up late. You cannot say you're going to do things and then don't keep your word. Everything that you do is magnified versus what it is that you're actually saying. So if you want to be respected and you want people to listen to what you are saying and doing, you got to lead by example. You have to lead by example because you are the CEO of Me Incorporated. And until you understand that, you don't get to sit around talking about they, and it's you, because that's the only thing that you can change. Anybody with adult children, anybody with toddlers and teenagers, you can't get them to do nothing. As a parent, you got about 6 to 8 years when you have your children's full attention. The rest of the time, they are paying attention to friends, the world, and everything else. And they make choices that are either best for themselves or not. And all you can do is keep leading by example. All you can do is keep leading by example. My daughter has seen my pictures at Freaknik. She saw the article with me doing Def Comedy Jam type comedy when I was in college. Tell her where all the bodies are buried, basically, and not for real, but where the skeletons are. Because I am leading by example. I'm not about to act like she's a hothead. I'm like, you got that from me and your father. Type A personality, you got that from us. So you have to be willing to be your real, authentic self all of the time. All of the time. In spite of what everything else is going on, you got to be the real you and lead by example. That's how it has to be, because you are the CEO of Me Incorporated. And if you think of it any other way, you will never ever get to destination called best. It will never ever ever happen. Good morning, Regina. Number 2 is inspect what you expect. Inspect what you expect. Inspect what you expect. Okay? If you inspect it, it's going to work. When I was in the military, and this is a story that's in my book, then this is they don't use M16s anymore, but on the M16s in the buttstock of the weapon, you were supposed there was a compartment in there, and you were supposed to keep your weapons cleaning kit in there. And one day we were coming back from FTX, my platoon sergeant said, "Hey, LT, check the buttstocks of the weapon." For what? He's like, "Yeah." I said, "The weapons cleaning kit in there." He's like, "Nah, that ain't what's in there." We get ready to do inspection. Everything, candy, Pokeball, all kind of nothing. There's no weapons cleaning kit in the buttstock of the weapon at all. And from that point forward, I said, "Oh, y'all caught me slipping. Never again." So inspect what you expect. If you expect people to do something, you need to inspect that. So if you have children, your house, wherever you are, from yourself, inspect what you expect, or it's never going to happen. And this isn't the same as in Al-Anon, expectations is down payments on resentments. It's set this high standard and then inspect that standard to make sure that it's being completed. When I worked at Frito-Lay, we used to have third parties come in and do different types of DOT, Intech, AIB, because it's food and beverage. So the government has a way of coming in and checks and balances to make sure that you're doing everything that you said you were going to do. And when AIB was coming, woo-wee, that doggone plant was spit shined and polished. And then it wasn't. But what if you never knew when AIB was coming? Then everything would be how it needed to be. And that's how you need to lead your life, is to inspect everything that you expect. And when you're unaccountable, you're like, "Yeah, I can wait. Yeah, we don't have to do that now." Yeah, you lower the standards, you lower the standards. And as I say, low standards are too close to no standards. So inspect it at a very high level and expect it at a very, very high level. And then everything will always lead to best. Number 3 is visualize your goals. Visualize your goals. Now, some people have vision boards, and I used to have vision boards in my office. I would get every year, what do you call it, a poster board, cut out pictures in magazines, and then I will visualize it. I'm past that phase in my life. I can actually see it in my head now, but you need to visualize your goal. And in addition to visualizing your goal, the concept that I learned when I was in the military is 2 levels up. 2 levels up. So when I was a second lieutenant, I was already Captain Thomas. And when I was Captain Thomas, I was Colonel Thomas until I decided to leave the military and pursue other options. So not only are you visualizing it, but you are already there. So if you have a vision of wanting to be a millionaire and you're a brokenaire, right now you need to be behaving like a millionaire, because when those 2 commas show up, you already got to be ready for it. If you wait until it shows up, now you're going to be ill prepared. So in your visualization and manifestation of those things, you have to currently behave like you are behaving like it's already here. That's number 1. So for me, there are already millions of people holding themselves personally accountable on the daily basis. That's how I'm able to get up every morning and do this. If I paid attention to the number that was on the live right now, it would be discouraging. But I'm not paying attention to that number. And the reason why I can say that there will be millions of people doing it is because I already have millions of people who have saw my content, billions of people who have saw it as well. So it's just people catching up to where I am. We will meet at some point in the future. So visualize your goals, but also be 2 levels up here right now so that you're always ahead. You're prepared and you have everything that you need right here, right now. Do not wait for it to show up, because then you will not be ready. So get ready. That old school statement of, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. You need to stay ready for where you're headed to, and not, well, I'm gonna just, well, as soon as it shows up, then that's when I'm going to do it. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. If you wait, and what I've noticed, especially with parents, is parents wait until their children are that age. I have a parent philosophy, and I have videos on it. If you want it for your children or your grandchildren, message me and I will send it to you. But it's 5 years. I have always been 5 years ahead for my daughter. So when she was 4, I was preparing her to be 9. And now she's 22, I'm preparing her for 27. So she is always ahead. So when she gets to that age, it's like, oh no, I didn't know. Wait, we weren't ready for these things. No, she is prepared as possible. I will be 52, God willing, in May. I'm preparing for 57 right now. 5 years ahead. And it's not that stupid ass 5-year plan. Well, I put in my projections. No, it's what will I need by the time I'm 57, and I need to have that and be ready for that right now. So there isn't this shock factor. During perimenopausal years, I read The Silent Passage, which is a book about menopause, because nobody really wants to talk about it. They do now, but they definitely still like, I don't know. Yeah, why you gotta talk about that? No, I wanted to know what was taking place. So I read it ahead of time. And I'm telling you that when you visualize your goals and you are already there, you're going to be different when those things show up. And the last thing you're going to do is what unaccountable people do. I told y'all, motherfuckers, hey, this is what I did. Nobody believed in me, and I had to sell. You don't even have time for that, because you're already knowing it's going to show up and you're still 5 years ahead. So it's not impacting you. You're not saying, see, this is what I said when y'all didn't believe in me. Ha, ha, ha. Absolutely not. Because if you believed in it, then you're not shocked that it's coming. You're like, oh, here it is. Got it. Like a package. If you order something and it shows up, you're not going, well, damn, my package showed up. No, you know that it's coming. So you just prepare. It's going, when it comes, we're going to put it in that corner, and you just start preparing for it. Same thing with visualize your goals. Number 4, learn to say we. And this isn't that corporate stuff. I spent almost 10 years in corporate America. When you have a team meeting, you say we, and then everybody departs, and the worker bees are the ones that actually do the work. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about we on this live, we as real leaders, we as people who hold ourselves personally accountable. That's what I'm talking about. That's the we that I'm saying. We, because we have the same mission, which is to become our best every single day, day in and day out. That's the we. 100% everybody forging ahead. We're going to be way more powerful together than divided. A house divided cannot stand. And when you have people who have different agendas, and you have people that are just here for their own individual reasons, then that's a problem. That's a weak person, and they have to be weeded out of the process. So we all have to be at the same level of strength and bring strength-wise, but not bringing the same skill sets together. So it is a we that is united. A united front says we. If you are the only person in your group that is personally accountable, there is no we. There is you and a them. Now they will continue to say we, so you will continue to do what they need you to do for them, but there is no we. And if you want to know if you are in a we or a me situation, call on people to help you with your thing that's independent of y'all thing. Does that make sense? So my daughter has a furniture assembly business, and I help her with her business. She does some administrative work for me and my business. That's how you know it's a we, because they are helping you with something that has nothing to do with them. Now you are a we. We work together to ensure that we are becoming our best individually. That's what it's called, interdependence. So that is what it is. So if you keep helping them and they don't keep helping you, y'all ain't in the we, y'all in the me. Because it's all, they're singing, me. I need you to help me. I need you to help me. Come over here and help me. Come over here and help me. And you think you're making deposits, and one day you're going to make a withdrawal, and that's not what's going to happen. It's not going to take place. So a true, genuine we will be we working together to become our best. Number 5, be willing to follow. Be willing to follow. Because the other thing that happens is when people get in positions of power and authority and leadership positions, they don't want to listen to nobody. I'm in charge, and I'm the one that's going to make the final decision, and I'm in charge. And they come in, and I just read Squawk a couple weeks ago. It's a great book, and it talks about being a squawk leader or being a supreme leader, a superior leader. And you have to listen to wise counsel. We watched Game of Thrones, and whoever was in charge was always listening to the small council, taking things into consideration. At the end of the day, it's my decision. Okay, well, you have to be willing to follow someone else. At the appointments with my daughter, she is the expert. I am following her. Most of the time, she's one of the youngest people at the appointments. People older than me are listening to her. Well, you're the expert. You're the expert. We don't know. And so you have to be willing to follow. Now, when you are a real leader, you don't have a problem following someone else. Now, I do have a problem with following a fool. I'm not going to do that. Even when I was in the military, Captain Lexi Gaylord was my first company commander, and he was a fucking bumbling idiot. And so much so the Army said, you're not even going to make it to major. Go ahead and get out. He was a drunk and a fool. And I was not following him. I was a rebellious junior lieutenant that would not do anything that he said. And I was like, listen, we're going to have a problem. He would call us over to his house on the weekend and make us get drunk and then grapple with each other. I'm like, this ain't part of my job description. I don't drink. I'm going to church. I ain't thinking about you. Well, you got to be here. It's mandatory fun. Okay, cool. And I would just stand there and watch them fools wrestle around in the grass until I had met my time commitment. And then I left. And so I only had to deal with him for about 90 something days. But I'm not going to follow a fool. So it's not that just the blind leading the blind. Where are we going? I will follow you, but where are we going? What's the destination? What are we going to do when we get there? I have the right to ask questions. And as you will notice, you can go to any of my 13 social media accounts, and I am not following anybody. I don't even follow my daughter. And not because I go and like her post, but I follow 0 people. After 2017, I stopped following people because motherfuckers, I don't know where they're going. And I would find that in their daily that they weren't doing anything. I got to wait for them to post. I got to wait for them to be somewhere, wait for them to show off their stuff. I'm like, this is all we got to wait. Now you dropping an album, or you dropping a book, or you going on tour, or you got a TV show that you about to be on or something like that, or you at a business event or something, and now you want to post 75 times a day. Where was you at 3 months ago? I'm not following you. There's nothing there. So I don't follow any. 0. Goose egg. Nobody. I think on my Graphtography account, I'm following me on my Pixar account. And that's it. But I'm following me. That's it. So I will follow you when you are leading me somewhere that makes sense for me. And if it doesn't make sense for me, I'm not following you. I don't care if you're in this whole awestruck, and what I've told people on TikTok, and it doesn't happen so much here on YouTube, is there is no hero worshiping over here. There is no fandom, and there is no idolization. It's real leadership. If you become a real leader, we are peers. That's it. Real leadership is the thing. Be personally accountable, and we are peers. And it's, well, you want people to call you Dr. Donna. Hell, fuck yeah. I went to school for 23 motherfucking years. So yes, you will call me Dr. Donna. Okay? You ain't got a problem calling Dr. Dre Dr. Dre. You ain't got a problem. He ain't got a doctorate in nothing. Okay? So other than that, we good. Other than that, but this whole notion of people getting in these positions, bend the knee, bow down, kiss the ring, because I have this fucking title. When I was in the military, we said respect the rank, not the person, because all people don't deserve respect. Point blank, period. And I know that's one of the principles of real leadership, but you an asshole. You an asshole. Point blank, period. That's it. So be willing to follow someone else. And as a leader, I can't follow you. Why not? Is your ego too big to recognize that someone else needs to be in charge to get a better result? Is that what's wrong? Because I have people who are like, oh my God, I could never work with my mother. You guys work together so well. My mother would drive me crazy. And I drive Nola crazy because I'm like, no, the standard of excellence pops up. What's this her business? I don't have any, she's not my doggone Nepo baby. I'm not living vicariously through her and forcing her to do anything because I got my own shit. I'm the shit. She need to step up her game and catch up to me. But I'm not, finally, my sister's my heartbeat and she's doing so great and wonderful and I gotta take photos and all. No, I'm not using her for no fucking photo op. I don't think that there is, unless you go to my mother's Facebook page, we don't even have a picture of us together on the internet anywhere. Because it's not necessary. She got her stuff, I got my stuff. Point blank, period. So be willing to follow someone else, even if it's your child that you're 29 and a half years older. Is there respect there? Absolutely. We left Michael's yesterday, and I told her, you yell at me in public again, and it's not going to be pretty. So we clear about who's still running shit. Me. But I have no problem following her. She can come in and give me information that's going to be beneficial to me, and I will follow it because she is a real leader. So that's it. Real leadership says, I can follow you, you can follow me. And it has nothing to do with age, or it does have something to do with technical competence and experience, but age is not a factor. Title is not a factor at all. The next one is number 6, and is be the best. If you don't want to be the best, drop off this live right now. If you do not want to be the best, go away. Go away. I don't do victims. I don't go pick people up out of holes that they willingly jumped in. This little sad story is, I tell people, it's the smallest violin in the world, listening to that whine that you have, a little bit of accompaniment. No one has time for that. Victimizing yourself. You understand that today. You understand. I understand you don't want to be the fucking best. I understand you a punk. I understand you a wuss. Take your wuss ass back to Loserville. I don't want to hear that. I have to say, but I don't think I can. I don't know how to believe in myself. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? I have a hard time because mine didn't get enough hugs when I was a kid. I don't give a fuck about that. I was 17 years old, about to go to war. The first time my mama told me she loved me. And she only said it because she thought I was about to die. What's that got to do with anything? Nothing. Be the best. If you woke up this morning and you want to be average or regular, go the fuck back to sleep and wake up again with a different mission. Wake up again with a different mission. We got 6 billion adults being regular. Don't contribute to the problem. Be part of the solution. Be the best. Be the best. I can't because it's crowded. I can't not down because at my job I can't get promoted. You man, get out of here. I came back from maternity leave about to lose my damn job, and within 1 year I got double the pay raise of everybody else that was a manager in that doggone plant in 1 year. Oh, okay, y'all trying to, okay, no problem. Watch this. I can show you better than I can tell you. Just because you get knocked down don't mean you got to stay down. And you using it as an excuse because you want some sympathy because your weak ass don't want to do the real work and you got a weak ass working memory and you want somebody to feel sorry for you. But people who use their frontal lobe, ain't falling for the okie doke. No one's falling for that at all. That amygdala ass hijacking shit only works in Loserville. Because anybody with any cognitive thought process whatsoever will recognize that you need to pick yourself up, get up, and go up and keep growing forward. So it is best over here. Not real interested in where you at. Do you want to be your best? Because your starting point is irrelevant and insignificant. If you're going for best, who the fuck cares where you started at? Don't matter. Best is the objective. Best is the finish line in multiple areas in your life. And if you don't want to be the best, go away. Go away. It would be better if you would just be honest and say, I don't want to be the best. Too much work. Okay, cool. Go to Loserville and sit in your comfort zone and become a spectator again. That's what you can do. I think it's quite interesting how many people sit on their ass and watch other people do shit at the best level and commentate. Well, if they could, and one time, and I think I've mentioned this before, we had an appointment at someone's house and they were watching, and Nola, you can tell me, one of them strong competition shows or whatever, and they literally both severely overweight to the point where they couldn't even walk without assistance and slow and breathing and shit from the couch to the kitchen. And they got the nerve to be sitting on the couch talking about what somebody did wrong. Excuse me? Say you need a respirator to go from the couch to the kitchen and they connected. And you over here talking about what they should have done. Are you out your damn mind? You can't even get to your healthy weight, but you talking about what somebody else is doing. So it is amazing that people that are sitting at their worst all the time are talking about people that are actually doing something. And I think it was Venus Williams that was getting interviewed one time, and she said, I can play tennis better than all of the people asking me questions right now. Hello? Okay? So you can't get, and Chris Brown said, how you going to be on the outside of the club talking? You can't even get in. If you can't do what I'm doing, be quiet. If you don't want to be the best, be quiet and go take your not best ass and go sit in Loserville somewhere and be quiet. And it's okay to be the best at what you're doing and go watch another superior person do something that they do so you can extrapolate their best practices and put it in your own life. It's not like people watching sports go and get motivated and now they're going to go and exercise and lose weight and do it. You're not doing that and taking notes. You're doing that to get some doggone dopamine and adrenaline. That's what you're doing. I'm gonna just watch this and I'm gonna chit chat, I'm gonna talk, and I'm gonna say, well, what they should have done and you a doggone, you at the G League at your own damn job. But you talking about somebody else. You the fifth doggone person. They like, well, damn, everybody else saying, hey man, come on, it's your turn. Everybody else gone, they quit. You the manager. That's what's actually happening. So if you don't want to be the best, go away. Stop doing drive-bys over here and taking what I'm saying and trying to go back over there and act like you is somebody. You not. Be the best or just be average and regular and go away. Don't keep talking about it. As we say back in the hood, don't talk about it, be about it. If you a bad mofo, then why we ain't got where the receipts at? I don't know if they still saying that, but where your receipts at for your bestness? Where did it occur? Where is it? Huh? Where's your credentials? I tell you all the time, when people start talking about what they did and all this shit, when you see them on lives and all that, I go straight to LinkedIn. Wikipedia, if you're famous, LinkedIn. Go straight to LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn people, they're going to lie a little bit, but they can't lie a lot because you can verify that stuff. So did you do all that that you said you do? Okay, cool. Why the math ain't mathing over there? Why the resume ain't resume? The credentials ain't credentialing it over there. So either be the best or be quiet. Exit stage left. Number 7 is delegate. Number 7 is delegate. And this is not delegate in regards to giving all your growth opportunities and shit away. You are delegating, and I have said this before in previous slides, you are delegating succession planning. You are delegating skill sets to other people in order for them to learn how to be their best. When I chartered a Toastmasters Club here at the Urban Chamber, I delegated being the president after I was the president, and then I stayed for 6 months to ensure that that person was ready to be the president and in leadership positions. And that person is now running the Urban Chamber when people never even thought she was going to make it from behind the front desk greeting people as they walked in the door. So that's real delegation. Real delegation says, I am going to give you these things, but I am going to check up on you to ensure that the standard of excellence is there and that you are being your best so that you can have this skill set. That's true delegation. That is what it actually is. Now, what people say, I don't feel like doing this, let me delegate. I don't feel like doing, just delegate all the shit you don't feel like doing. Those are your, if you use and feel like doing it, you're wrong. Because those are the skills that you need. Those are not the skills that, I just pay people to do that. I ain't got time to be doing all that. What you doing there? If you didn't delegated everything out, what you doing all day? And now I'm looking for some fulfillment. You would have had fulfillment if you had did those growth opportunities, mastered them, and then delegated them out. That's how delegation actually works. The best business book ever written is The E-Myth Revisited, and that book teaches you how to go from technician to manager to actual leadership positions of CEO, president, whichever one you choose for your organization as a title. That's what it is. So it teaches you how to do that, and you work yourself out of every last one of those positions, and then you start hiring people for those positions. But what happens in small business and mid-sized businesses, they literally go hire the person to do all the shit that they don't feel like doing. That's why Facebook went and got Sandy, because Mark Zuckerberg didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and then she made it blow up, and everybody's saying he a G. No, not at all. She's the G, the OG. Okay, that it wouldn't be what it is without her. Wouldn't have ever happened. And doggone Bill Gates went and got Paul Allen and Steve Ballmer to make that shit pop off. Steve Jobs needed Wozniak to make it happen. So it wasn't a delegation. It was a come and help me, resuscitation to survive and thrive. But that's not the same thing. So you need the skill sets. You need to become your best, and you need to set and maintain high standards. And then you start delegating, because that's succession planning. My daughter has a sports advising agency, and I'm learning so much about sports. And most of it, I'm just like, that's some bullshit. But here's the thing. If you have 53 people on an NFL roster and 2 people get injured, why are y'all losing? To make that math work. If you have 53 employees and 2 employees call off, can't the company still run? So what does that tell you? There is no depth chart, there is no bench strength, and there is no succession planning. There are 2 to 3 people who make that franchise work. And that's the fucking problem. That's the problem, because it's not really a team. As an MP, everybody in those teams, if you have a platoon, you have 10 vehicles and 3 to 4 people in each vehicle. Everybody needs to know how that team works. Everybody needs to use every weapon system in that team, need to drive, be able to use whatever vehicle that is. Everybody has to do their part and then some. When I worked at Frito-Lay, just because you were on the pick belt didn't mean you couldn't pick batch or bulk, because if somebody calls off leaves or the workload is high, I need you to be able to be the backup. And even though they have backups, it's not really a backup. And then you sit there and watch them and say, oh man, such and such is injured. Oh man, he injured. He out for the season. There go the season. How? If there are 52 other people, all these coaches, my friend is the dog that I went to high school with, is the security for the Detroit Lions, the director of security, and how much shit they got to take and do before they go, all these moving pieces. And then what happens? Someone loses, and what they say? Well, the refs. Well, such and such had to do that. Imagine if cardiothoracic surgeons got finished with surgeries and people kept dying. They kept saying, well, the anesthesiologist didn't put them under enough. The nurse, the head charge nurse of the ER room, she didn't tie my thing tight enough. I didn't know I left that glove inside of them, and they should. And then, because if I could get some help in here, if the administrators at the hospital would, you'd be like, I just lost my loved one. I don't give a fuck about what you're talking about. But all of that can take place because of a lack of delegation. Well, if we get some coaches in here, if we get some... No. It's too much money on the line. It's too many people that should know how to do their job. It's the same. And the final thing I will say is that the game hasn't changed. They're not running uphill. They're not using a basketball. It ain't a hockey puck or nothing. What is it? The same exact thing that can't get done. And the same thing is happening in your life because of this lack of skill set from the people in charge, the lack of real leaders leading by example and delegating. It's just rolling downhill everywhere else in the world. Everywhere else. Two people, if you are in an organization, should not change the situation because of bench strength, because of delegation, and because of succession planning. And it doesn't happen. Why? Because it takes working memory. It takes a vast working memory to teach someone else how to do something. First, you have to be technically competent, which is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. Then you have to be able to lead by example, communicate effectively. If you don't know, ask questions. And when you start looking at all of that, that's why it's not happening, because of the inability to use the working memory to work day in and day out. That's why delegation is so important. You master it and then you delegate it down and delegate it down and down. And now you have this very much successful organization, whether it's at your house, in your life, at an organization, your business, or anywhere else. But that takes leading by example. It takes competence. It takes inspecting what you expect, and it takes visualizing your goals. It takes learning to say we. It takes being willing to follow someone else. And number one, most importantly, in these that I've gone over, is be the best. Do you actually want to be the best, or do you just want to be first? Or do you just not want to be last? And finally, removing obstacles. Removing obstacles to success. When you lead by example, you can remove obstacles because you've already gone through those obstacles. Most of the challenges that my daughter faces on a day-to-day basis in her business, I've already had a similar experience. So I can say, okay, here's a strategy for that. Here's a strategy for that. And if I haven't, because of my technical competence, I can figure it out faster than her. Here you go. What is it? Okay, this is what you need to do. There have been times, and I know y'all know I can't put shit together, and she'll be over there trying to get it, and then I'll say, let me see it. And then I'll figure that part out. Now, I can't finish the rest of the assembly, but I can problem solve like nobody's business because of this hunormic working memory that I have. And that's where problem solving resides in the executive function of your brain. So, removing obstacles is also how you lead by example. And if you can't remove obstacles, that means that your working memory is weak, which means that you are not taking in new information. You are not problem solving on a daily basis. You are not decision making on a daily basis. You are not focused on best. And so a little pebble in the street might be enough to throw you off your square. Or it could be a big giant boulder and you'd be like, okay. And removing obstacles means you might have to go around it. You might have to go through it. You might have to go over it. You might have to dismantle part of it. But that's what removing obstacles is doing. And it's strengthening you for a future event. So if you come up against an obstacle which you perceive as a problem and you stop and then you just wait and hope it goes away and then you change directions, you might even turn backwards, you just missed out on skill development. You just missed out on strength training and everything else for your brain. And now, whatever skill you needed to remove that obstacle that you don't have, as we talked about yesterday, you're going to go to the next thing and not have what you need because you didn't take the opportunity to remove the obstacle that is in front of you. And obstacles show up as problems. They show up as shit show palooza. And that's what they're there for. And when you navigate to and through those, you are going to be stronger, better, bigger, badder, bolder, and wiser. Those are the first 8 of how to become leader led. What questions do you have before we move on to the cognitive activities for today? And remember, if you're thinking ... Okay, no questions. Moving on. On the website, go to the social media tab. Okay, it popped up now. Go to the social media tab on the website. and you're going to go to the page that we were at yesterday. So PixArt Photography is the fourth one down. And then just give me a thumbs up or yes, I'm there, so that I know that you're there. So you went to the website, went to social media tab, you went the fourth one down to PixArt Photography. So this is my second PixArt account. I do have two. We already went over the graphography page, so that's where all of the graphics are for Dr. Donna quotes and steer clear and note to self and all those. Those are my still graphics. This is my selfie page that I used to contribute to quite often, and now I don't anymore. I just use these for book reviews and things like that. I've started creating slide-overs in Instagram. And the purpose of being here is this. I heard a bunch of creative people always saying, "If so, I have to have my creative process. I have to be inspired. I was like, okay, I was like, damn, it must be hard to create stuff. So selfies were big. I don't even know if people are still taking selfies with duck lip selfies and getting the angle right. All of that. And I'm a rebel, in case you haven't figured that out by now. And I was like, why the fuck would I keep taking pictures of myself? Just look at my new, looking at my, that's boring. How can you keep taking pictures of yourself? So I started using different apps. So Photolab, Photogrid, Snapchat lenses, and PixArt all together to create self-tography or faceography is what I call it. So it's my face and it's photography. So put it together and I have faceography. And some of these faceographies made it to Jiffy as well. And the reason why I did this is because take risk and challenge yourself, be forward thinking, and visualize your goals. When I was making these, I had no idea that I would use them in the way that I'm currently using them, but it's like I have this whole reserve of me of these different selfies. So I would use them as my profile photo on Twitter, use them as my profile photo on Instagram. If you go to all of those pages, one of any of my profile photos is coming from here. If I'm especially on Instagram. And so the reason why I'm doing this is to show, number one, that creative people are full of shit. If you are creating all of the time, then you are creating all of the time. But I need my muse, and I mean this. When you're doing something every day, you're going to get better at it. And even Stephen King said he would just, lock himself in a room and write from 8 to 4, even if it was just one word or two words on the page. I don't understand this breaking. This, I need a break. I need to go get inspired. Bullshit. If this is what you came here to do, you're going to have inspiration every day, because what are you going to do? You're going to increase your working memory. So what it taught me and showed me was that creative people are not going outside of creativity to be inspired. So they're not going to the oil change place and just looking at people changing the oil. Because what the hell does oil changing have to do with art? Unless you are a person like, I'm going to paint it. You wouldn't think, but if you just went and had a conversation with the person that's changing your oil, you could be inspired. Well, How Rich People Think is a book that I used to read every day, and he suggested that you go do a normal task and then you will be inspired. So I either take a shower or wash the dishes, and then something will pop up into my head, and I'll go, oh, you all have experienced it. I'll be on the live and say, like yesterday, for help is for help, and that's going to be fake help. The ideas just come to me. So when you're always being inspired or always be creating, then you will always be creating. But if you follow this unaccountable process that says, oh, I had that album, I had that movie out, I had this art, I had this, I'm in a slump, I got writer's block. You don't, if you keep increasing your working memory and say, I can be inspired from anywhere. I take information from any and everybody, an appointment, sitting at a stoplight, watching a billboard, because inspiration is everywhere. Creativity is everywhere. If you think about, and Kevin, you're in the daily challenge, and there are 2 different daily playlists over like 500 or 600 dailies of just different things. I'm at an appointment. I'm like, damn, who invented the doorknob? Well, who invented drywall? Well, I wonder what this phrase was, because your brain is open to it. So if you scroll through, some of them are Snapchat lenses, some of them are me, some of them are, and I forgot the one that was on the Google did for a hot second and then it was gone. But taking a Snapchat lens and then putting it in a photo lab or a photo grid app or even Pixar and seeing what is possible, it inspired my creativity. And then from that part, I'm now taking my creativity and using it for content writing, using it to create other content. And it's a great risk because as a person, again, if you just look at my resume, if you look at LinkedIn and you come over here, you don't think that it's the same person. Additionally, I don't have a style from a creativity perspective. So if you think about Picasso and the blue phase and everybody, you can tell Basquiat when you see it, you know that that's that person's art. I didn't want to do that either. I didn't want it to be, oh, I know who made that. Oh, that's a Dr. Donna. No, I wanted it to be broad enough where you couldn't necessarily tell that it actually came from me. And I started putting these selfies on Instagram, about 8 to 10 of them. And now people are like, oh my God, I'm inspired to do that. Let me see if you could do that. And all of this. Now, what's interesting with this as well is that my sister took regular photos. My mother used to post those on Facebook all the time. And I asked her why she never posted any of my photos. And she was like, because you don't have no regular photos. Like, you got all that stuff and you don't be smiling and all of that. So I don't want to, I can't post that. Well, she didn't say I can't post that. She said you don't have regular photos because you got all that other stuff on your photos. And then that let me know that these photos made her uncomfortable. And sometimes art makes people uncomfortable. And that's what makes it art as well. Because my sister just had her same old everything. And then this made her, supported her superiority complex that my mother has, a combination of inferiority complex as well. And and so the ones that you see with me by myself, just smiling, those are the photos that I actually made to get and sent to her too. And those didn't get posted either. So interestingly enough, you ask, you have not because you asked not. I said, oh, cool, I can get you some regular photos. And somehow they still did not get posted. It doesn't matter at this point, just letting you know that this is what's possible. So tap into your creativity and don't let unaccountable people and biases put you in a box and tell you, well, because you talk about leadership and business strategies, what are you doing making photos like this? This is what does this have to do with business? It has everything to do with business. It has everything to do with being real and expanding yourself, because what happens is you pick an industry, you stay in that industry, you're stuck in that industry, and if you try to switch and go do something else, everybody's like, what you doing? No, you got to stay over here. And so you don't dip your toe into anything else, because what will people think? If you're being a real leader, we will think it's awesome. If you're unaccountable, lazy, losing somebody, then you're going to think you making me uncomfortable. So go back into your little caste system to make us feel great. So basically, that's it in a nutshell on that. So you can do whatever it is that your heart desires to give you what you need to enhance and advance everything else that you're doing. Do not allow unaccountable people to talk you into a box and then put the lid on it and leave you there and don't even poke no holes in it for you to be able to breathe. All right, go back to the website and go back to the social media page. We have a Medium article to read. It's a 1-minute read again. That's what Medium's saying. I'm saying it's going to be less than 1 minute. So you go back to the social media page on the website, go to Medium, which is under TikTok. And you're going to scroll down to What If. So back to the website, social media, select the medium, and then scroll down to What If. The graphic for it is a red question mark. Let me know when you're there. So again, the website, social media tab, Medium, and then the article is What If. Nola, you can go ahead and start reading it. And then after you finish reading it, what is your takeaway, learning, thoughts? I thought I filed this down. Still snagging on something. That's an interesting thought, Kevin. And what people exactly would call you selfish? What kind of people would call you selfish? Good morning. Live your life for you, not them. Got it. So what inspired this article was that my mother would she's the creator of the sibling rivalry, and I said most parents are, a couple days ago. And so my mother would constantly call my sister selfish, 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 manipulating me so that I would do whatever it is that she wanted me to do for her. So I would not be like my sister. Don't be like your sister. Your sister. Your sister. Your sister. And for many years, with her in particular, I did put her first and I did concern myself with what she was going to think and say and do until I realized that she hadn't done, said, or really did anything and accomplished anything in her own life. So I stopped doing it. Once I realized that nothing was ever going to be good enough and nothing was ever going to satisfy her, I stopped doing it. I stopped focusing on those things and started focusing on my things because I'm here for me and I know how to keep myself fulfilled. So in doing that for other people, it actually is a problem because people are people. People are fickle and they're always going to have something to say. And depending on how the wind blows, that's how their opinion of you goes. You could take that to the bank. Kevin, did you hear my question to you? So that's where that came from. All right, let's go back. And I will be following up on be objective. So Nola, you can answer what did you do yesterday to be objective? Yesterday was the principle of real leadership, to be objective. So what did you do yesterday to be objective? Right. So those people not willing to do those things for themselves, and those people would be unaccountable people. That's who it is. It's unaccountable people. So my be objective yesterday, I finished up my third day. So Kevin, now we're talking about what we did yesterday to be objective. My third day on just consuming online content and just consuming it and seeing what took place. And my objectivity from that was it's not something that I want to do going forward. It's not something that I have done, and it's not something, but I was just objectively taking it in and feeling what I was feeling and saying what I was saying. And then I said, this doesn't work. And so I went to the facts. I took it all in. I did not judge it as it was happening to say if it was valid or invalid. I said, oh my goodness, I even went and commented on some people's stuff and everything. I'm full participation. I went full consumer mode. This is what I'm doing. It might even have been 2 hours yesterday because we had a light day. And then by the time I got to the end of my day, I said, this doesn't work. Because everything that I consumed did not have a solution. It had to see y'all was right and see, yep, that's what happens and that's what they get and FAFO and all of that. But I did not like how I felt. Because there was no, imagine if you watch something or you go eat a meal and you're still hungry when you leave the restaurant. It left me wanting more. So then I went back on social media because it wasn't 2 consecutive hours, it was in spurts. And then I went back looking for something. So that song, looking for love in all the wrong places. That's what you're doing. You're looking for fulfillment in all the wrong places, and you're not being fulfilled. So then you say, oh, let me go to Instagram, let me go to TikTok, well, let me go over here, what they saying on Twitter, and then, well, let me turn the TV on, what they saying over here, and it's not working. It actually does not work. It doesn't. And literally the reason why my TikTok feed can't get to neuroscience is because the videos are so old and so infrequent. They're not populating to come because it's buried in the algorithm. So I literally just have to go and search and look at the video and save the video and keep doing it that way because it won't even show up on my FYP page, which is also telling. So consuming all of that, just it's like an addiction. You just have to keep consuming more, and you believe that is actually going to produce some type of desired result, and it's not. It actually isn't. It has no intrinsic value. I just want to be entertained. I just want to laugh. I just want to, okay, and then what? And then what? Go back to your, because you can't take that information and then produce best in your life. Because it wasn't even designed for it to be that way. And I know it's popular. There was one neuroscience video that I actually wanted to watch and I couldn't because how he filmed it, the music was on top of it. He was using a trendy song at the time and it had nothing to do with what he was saying. So I couldn't even get the information because it's like, well, if you're going to make this content, you got to make it like this so people will see it. And I'm saying, no, you have to make it, and the people who need to see it will see it, and the people who don't won't. You have to have a universal belief that it's going to get to who it needs to get to. But I had to be objective after it was all said and done, and I needed to conduct that experiment for a future moment. I'm sure I'll have a conversation with someone, and they will say, well, no, because you're doing it wrong. But no, because there is value. And I'm saying, no, actually 72 hours was enough. And I had a nice little variety of people. I watched all different types of videos, and it's just having fun. Okay, well, one of the 74 principles of real leadership is to have fun in a way that is beneficial neurologically. And that's not depleting neural pathways, but actually enhancing neural pathways. So that's what it's all about. I know how to have fun. You ever come to an event that I plan, you have a good time, you're going to be talking about it for years to come. So I do know how to have fun. But what does the brain need? If you think about a balanced diet, it's okay to consume some sugar, but you need vegetables and you need protein, you need carbohydrates, you need hydration. And if all you do is keep eating sweet, sugar, it's going to show up in a myriad of ways in all different types of tests in your body. So yes, in moderation, Aristotle, do all things in moderation and nothing in excess, but it becomes excessive. And that's why you can't achieve best, because where is it coming from? Where is it coming from if you don't go and seek it out? And neurologically, you have to say, I'm getting out of my amygdala and I'm going into my frontal lobe and I'm going to seek a best balanced, peaceful, calm existence. All right, Kevin, looking for your answer. Nola, your answer. What did you do to be objective yesterday, Kevin? Nola, you said I was being objective. I looked up items and war game, the planting, and when I finally got everything home, it only took 30 minutes to install the plants. That is correct. You were very objective, and we had a good time at Star Nursery. Shout out to Star Nursery on Charleston. Okay, and then the final thing for today is that your real leader principle is be the best. Be the best. So today you're going to be your best. You're going to look for the best, consume the best, talk to the best, research the best, participate in the best. If you find yourself somewhere and it's not the best, then exit stage left. And if you are at work and you can't leave, go sit where you can. Be the best in your mind. If you are trapped in a situation momentarily where you cannot leave, because you can always be the best up here. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison and came out and became the president of South Africa. So it works up here, if nowhere else. And then, so Kevin, you're typing up what you did to be objective. Nola, you are now typing in what you learned. And then we will go. So what did you learn today? And what I learned today, and I thought about what Linda said about unaccountable people needing a host. And what I learned today from the amount of unaccountable people we initially had at the beginning of the live and are no longer with us. Some left on their own, some were escorted out by security. Is that, how can I put this? Unaccountable people don't like peace and quiet and calmness. It makes them extremely uncomfortable. They can't have it be calm. And it comes across as, I want it to be exciting and I want it. You don't. You actually want your amygdala to be hijacked. You don't know how to not have your amygdala hijacked. And I'll use this as an example. There are people who cannot go out and not drink because they believe they can't have a good time sober. And it's not that they're alcoholics, not even functional drunks, but they believe that part of going out to dinner, to the club, to anything on vacation is, in order for them to have fun, they need to have a little buzz going on. Maybe not pissy drunk where they're praying to the porcelain god, but they need to have a little boost. And that's what's happening with unaccountable people. Silence is deafening. Peace and calmness makes them extremely uncomfortable. And so they will automatically, in this instance, they need a cocktail to get the party started, and then they want to pass it around because it's boring to them. But it's not that it's boring, is that your brain can't process it. That's what I learned, is that your brain is used to and to just be calmly sitting somewhere and observing and learning means that you have to be in your frontal lobe. And you can't do that if you're trying to be buzzed. You do not have the same experience if you go to the same place sober versus buzzed. You're going to have a totally different sight process. You will not have brain fog. And so unaccountable people want brain fog. They don't want to see clearly because, if you actually had to look at that shit for real, you might change your mind about everything that you're doing. But if you got a little gloss, a little haze, little rose-colored glasses on, then you will see things differently. So, and I said that yesterday, scrolling through TikTok, and one of my videos will pop up, and it's like the energy ain't there, and you got to decide if you're gonna keep scrolling. Is this boring? I don't know about this, and so it gets your attention, 100%. And so they go into hijacked amygdala mode and are expecting me to participate in a way that I'm unwilling to participate in whatsoever. I reviewed my notes from the last 30 days. I realized that my current position revealed that my written notes are becoming my actions of improvement. Well, kudos to you. Check that out. Well, that is awesome sauce. Very good. That means that you are wiring new neural pathways in your brain and it is working. Ha 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 ha, I'm taking over the world. No, it's working. That's amazing. So, Nola, what did you learn today? Kevin, what did you learn today? Regina, when you get to a point, go ahead and email me what you did to be objective yesterday and what you learned today as you were listening. And remember that today's Real Leader principle that you will be using is be the best. So that is what I learned. I also learned one other interesting thing. This morning when I was making the video to announce the live, I was talking about how to be leader-led, and it took me 13 takes. I'm 1-2 takes. That's it. It took me 13 takes to get it done. And what I realized what was happening is my override from when I was in the military and when I was at Frito-Lay's. When you're talking about leadership, you got to be talking about leadership like this. And you're talking about your leadership, so you got to do like this. And I was like, yeah, fuck that. I'm not saying that. And I kept trying to be leader-led, and I kept flubbing it, and I kept flubbing it, and I kept flubbing. Finally, I said, fuck this. I'm saying this like I want to say it, and boom, one take, and it was done. So I learned that even still, the neural pathway was trying to go to the professional way of saying, hey, I'm going to be, and it was like, I don't want to say that. I could feel that it was wrong and it was off. It's like, nah, I'm not saying that shit. I'm going to say the truth. So I told y'all I have a natural neurological override. I would like, that's not me. Not going to say it. Not going to do it. That's not what I would say. That's not how I would say it. And so I did not do it. And I kept doing it. I was like, I went back in my phone. I said 12. And finally got to, yours didn't send. It said message retracted. Can you type it again? Okay, got it. YouTube glitch. Now I got to retype it. Yes. And Kevin, you said learned in visualizing your goals, you should think 2 levels up. Exactly. So wherever you are currently in your goals, Kevin, go 2 levels up and be that person walking around today already. So when it shows up, you're not shocked by it, and you are like, I was already ready for it. Y'all just now saying it. I've been here, up here, been here, up here for a very, very long time. And then the final thing that I will say regarding my mother, um, and it's this: if it feels like I'm always just saying the bad things that she did, I am. And the reason why I'm saying them is because it's freeing for me, because for 40, almost 49 years, I didn't say them. That's a long ass time. Some of y'all on here are not 49 years old. And even if you are, 49 years is almost 5 decades. Okay. And so I didn't say those things. And they were inside of me, hidden, pressed down. And I'm saying them now because she just kept telling me what a good mother she was. She just kept telling me all the stuff, the sacrifices that she made, and everything that she did good. So I kept hearing that. And I kept feeling guilty for the bad that took place. And now I'm saying, no, you actually weren't. And you just kept talking about the 12 things that you did well instead of the 150 million things that you did wrong and the harm that you caused. So if it's like, oh, she don't like her mama. No, it's not even of whether a matter of I like her, love her, or hate her. It's a matter of being honest about what actually took place for 49 years. If you are in a 49-year marriage, a 20-year marriage, and you get divorced, all these things start coming up. And if you don't acknowledge that they were there, you can't get them out of you. You don't have the ability to purge. And that's what happens with your neural pathways, is when you're no longer using those things, they get purged. They leave your hippocampus. They're no longer in your cerebral cortex, and they go away, and you have space to put something else in there, something that is of value that you're actually going to use. So this is no different than me if I had a garage and I'm opening up boxes and I'm like, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to throw that away. But what the hell was that? Well, man, what was that? So that's all it is. Is this a mental garage cleanout? I'm purging. And I suggest that you do the same thing. I told you I'm 100% transparent. I'm about to be like, oh, my life was berries and cherries. No, that's not it. But you have the right to discard all of the things that don't serve you well. And it's not a matter of donating them, it's discarding them. So these things come up and I can continue on. I'm like, oh my God. And when something does come up, that's traumatic. PTSD can come from anything. Let that moment happen too, because I am not going to let anything stop me from being my best and believing for 49 years, 5 days short of 49 years, that she was better than she actually was. So I have to actually be objective and say, this is who that person is, independent of giving me birth. This is who she is. I got to look at that. I have to look at that, because if I don't, then who knows what I'm missing out on in a future event, because I still have those lies and all of that manipulation and stuff in my head. So I'm not saying that she didn't do some things well or good. What I am acknowledging is all of the things that weren't good. And then it's balanced. Just like with my ex-husband, I tell my daughter all the time, you got that from him, and not you got that from your stinking ass daddy. No, there are things that she received from him that are actually blessings. So it's me balancing out almost 50 years of a very lopsided situation. That's what's taking place. So you take that away. I don't know who that's for or whatever it is. I'm just explaining to you, I don't do anything without a strategy to include purging trauma from 5 decades worth of dealing with a dysfunctional addict in my life. And if you have addicts in your life, you need to go to Al-Anon. It's a very effective program so that you can work all your stuff out, regardless of what they're doing. You need to get into some recovery, and you'll be all recovering, and you have to be able to live your truth. Okay? Nola, you said, I learned that you can't fulfill others by doing things for them. If you do things for yourself, you will be fulfilled. Fulfillment has to come from you to you. Beautiful. That's my child. Thank you, my amazing offspring. That is correct. Your fulfillment comes from you. That's where it's at. It's like, imagine if you're hungry and you keep feeding everybody else. You're still going to be hungry. You can't make dinner and give it to everybody else and then say, hey, y'all, fill me up. No, your fulfillment is your responsibility. If you want to be full, you're going to have to do the things to make you full. That's how that works. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, very much for your time that you've taken for yourself to understand what part one of being leader led. Tomorrow, God willing, higher power in the universe, I will be back with the other 8 principles of real leadership. And you need to make sure that today you are be the best. Be the best, be the best, be the best, be the best. Instead of be our guest, be the best. That's what you can do all day long. And I will see whomever is available por la mañana tomorrow. Go off and have a sensational borrowing that note. Hey, stay online. I'll stay here for you, Kevin, for you to be able to write it down. Let me know when you've written it down or if you've done so already. Wasn't that good? That was definitely good. I'm going to write it down too. Look. Where is my, y'all, I write down so much now I had to get bigger cards. I'm at 4x6s now instead of 3x5s because Nola asked me when we were getting them. She said, is that for your eyes? I said, no. It's because I'm using too many of them. Everything ain't because I'm old. Okay. All right. You got it, Kevin? All right. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Again, go off and have a sensational Sunday. God willing, higher power of the universe. And let me just make that a thing too. Okay. We will be back tomorrow, and we reserve the right to get better and better and bester every single day. Namaste. And I'll be back tomorrow. Take care.